Well, greetings YouTube. It's another day here in Pennsylvania. It's actually Thanksgiving weekend. We had a house full. It's time I get back out to the shop and get on the good foot, literally. I got a bunch of shoes I gotta fix. I got one pair I started as a project for an old friend of mine in the tattoo business. So I gotta get them to him. I did one of my Doc Martens kind of reconstructions. So with the holidays and everybody around, I've been kind of slacking out here. So it's time we get going. Put some lights on. So, whoa, that's kind of bright. But got a couple pair of boots and so we're gonna get after it. Well, first things first, I gotta just make some sense of this mess I got here. It seems like it's just been kind of the catch-all for everything. I was looking all over for this little heater. Sometimes I put stuff away so well, I forget where the hell I put them. So I'm just gonna do a little straightening up, get a little bit organized, and then get down to business. All right, I got my bench all squared away and neatly organized, kind of. I got this pair of Doc Martens I did. I put this little midsole on here, hand stitched it, used the original yellow thread there, left that, and just kind of stitched some black in there to kind of trick it a little bit. And I'm just going to put a conventional Vibram sole on here, which will actually give them a lot more wear than the original Doc Martens sole. Got another two pair of, I think these are Danner, just good old hardcore work boots. Got two pair from the same guy. So we're just going to bring those guys back to life. Like I said, first things first, just want to make sure that my knives are all in good working order. Let's see how this guy works. There you go. You can tell from the minute you start. Looks like he's got some little metal shavings in these soles. So, gonna have to sacrifice my knife a little bit here. Well, I just started cutting these off with the knife, and I thought, you know what, I might be able to just pull these soles off by putting a little thinner on here and popping these soles right off. I'm hoping I'm not eating my words in a few minutes here, but that looks like it's actually coming off. See what I'm saying? Like that comes right off once that glue kind of starts getting broke down. These are coming off pretty good. This is fighting me a little bit, but I'm hoping I can get the better of it. You know, these boots that are made more or less by hand, or predominantly by hand, are just so much easier to fix and repair because you just reverse engineer them, you know? There's got a little American flag on these guys. I guess these are Danners. They're good company. Cost doesn't necessarily equate to quality. You know, sometimes people's value of things as well, you know, how much they paid. We see that in the tattoo business, you know, when somebody comes in and goes, man, look at this tattoo. I paid $1,000 for it, you know. And our first comment is, oh man, do you like it? You know, if you paid $1,000 for it, or 2,000 or 10,000, whatever, but if you like it, well, then it's worth every penny, you know. But in anything, I try to be really fair with people on everything, because what goes around comes around. And if you treat people fairly and give them more than they expect, they come back. So you can see I'm battling this a little bit, but we'll see. One down, 3 to go. Look out. So I'm just gonna do the same thing on this one too. Just loosen this up with some thinner and try to peel this baby off. Got my little electric heater here cranking. Keeping this stuff away from it as not to ignite. That would be no fun. I've never really had a real dedicated spot anywhere that I've been living that I can do all this. So it's nice, man, to be able to come out here and just fool around and, you know, get some stuff done, get a sense of accomplishment on stuff, you know, and then put it down, close the door behind me, and when I come back the next day, you know, everything's still where it is. It's at, you know, I always dreamed about being able to do, and here it is. You know, and the shoe repair thing is another thing, you know, it was always on the horizon ever since I stopped doing it. And I'm tattooing, people are still asking me, man, do you do that? You know, there's nobody doing it anymore. So, you know, I'm about as busy doing this as I care to be right now in my life, you know, and that might change. Like I said, the more time I spend up here, the more I might be doing it. Everybody's been up in arms about all this AI stuff, and you know, it's here. Nothing's changing that, but I think the more, you know, AI seems to be kind of in the forefront, I think the more people are really going to appreciate and crave, you know, handmade stuff that you do with your hands. AI to me sounds like average intelligence, because it just kind of goes across the, you know, the interwebs and grabs, you know, a smattering of like the, you know, the average stuff out there. No computer can replicate, you know, a human connection with talking to people, and you know, and I hope that's what kind of takes precedent with all this AI crap. You know, it's technology, it ain't changing. It's going to be getting crazier and crazier every day, but nothing ever take what's important away, and that's human to human, you know, connections and understanding. So that's where I'm at on that one. Well, we got the soles off of these two guys. On to the next pair. Well, the second pair, I thought were Danners, but they're actually Thorogoods, which is another really good brand. It's just, but really, really well made, man. This leather is super good shape. It's just, they're just kind of dried out. You know what I mean? They've been ridden hard and put away wet. So I'm going to revitalize these guys, and they're going to look as good as new. Actually better than new, because they're all broken in, comfortable. I'm tripping out too. It came with the original laces here, and these have like little brass ends on them. You know, it's crazy. Those little brass guys on there. Brass or metal or something like that. So these are still in great shape, so I'm just going to reuse them. You know, it's not like this planned obsolescence that, you know, stuff only lasts for a little while and then breaks, and then you got to replace it. This stuff is made to last and last a long time. So you're getting a lot of value for your money, man. If you're going to spend the dough on a good pair of boots, you know, this is where it's at. So this is really quite enjoyable. It's kind of a cloudy day outside, not much else going on. Kind of still recovering from the holidays or from Thanksgiving. So I figured I'd use my time wisely and get out here and get some stuff done. So I've been watching on YouTube, and I see a bunch of guys repairing shoes and fixing shoes and doing this same kind of thing. And instead of using that kind of chemical thinner, they just use heat, which I guess probably is a safer way of doing things, you know? You're not exposing yourself to all this chemicals. So I'm just running this on here, getting this guy good and hot, hopefully without burning the house down. Who says you can't teach an old dog new tricks? Get a little left-handed action here. And the extra added bonus is that it's freezing out here. So this little heat gun is helping me out here. There we go. Well, that worked out pretty good. Once again, you never know. I've been looking at that heat gun hanging over in the corner there for a while. It's like, let's try it. So this all came off in one piece. So that's good progress. This is a trip too, man. This has got a complete leather welt in here, if you can see that. But this part here, a lot of this stuff is plastic, and they kind of break and crack and all that stuff. With leather, you know, they last for a really good time. So these are really well made. I don't think I've ever done a real pair of Thorogood boots, but I would actually buy a pair. Yeah, cool. American made. So I'm just gonna sand down this midsole, get it nice and flat, and get all this old glue off, any dirt, any contaminants, and gives us a good surface to glue on. Good. Gonna get on that one. You gotta scuff up the sole also. Get that all smooth. Just obviously some, just a little bit more schmutz on there from the manufacturer, but I just roughed this up a little bit. You need a little tooth in here for that glue to catch. So much of this is preparation. You know, you want these materials to be in the best conditions to bond to each other. All right, we got them all sanded, smooth, pretty smooth. And now we're just gonna scuff them up, clean them up, and get a coat of glue on them. Alrighty, I was just gonna start scuffing these guys up a little bit with this little scraper tool. And I noticed the toe on this one boot, on this Danner, the midsole is kind of opening up a little bit. So I'm just gonna put a couple of hand stitches in there just to make doubly sure. It looks like the stitches are in there pretty good, but I wouldn't wanna have to do this whole sole job and then have the toe start letting go. So, okay, just gonna put a little glue on here to get these shanks back in with this little insert. Got the shanks all glued in there, secure. So now we just start gluing them. I always forget to put this darn apron on. It's a very nice gift from my friend EJ and Liz. I don't want to ruin my very favorite insulated overalls. I gotta have a screw loose. All right, let's get going here, man. Pair one. So I'm just putting a nice even coat of adhesive on here. With this too, you really want to make sure that you're getting a good even coat all the way around, especially on the edges here, where there's going to be a lot of, you know, a lot more stress. Like I said, so much of this is preparation and really taking your time to making sure that everything is done correctly. So I've been lucky enough too is that there's a Red Wing, a dedicated Red Wing shoe and boot store really within 1.5 miles, 2 miles of here. And I bring them some cards. They kind of hand them out to anybody who comes in looking for a repair. So they've been very, very helpful in keeping me as busy as I want to be. That's one thing I learned years ago when I worked in a couple of different shoe repairs before I had my own, is that, you know, people will stop and drop something off and you tell them when it's going to be done. It's got to be done. There's nothing worse than somebody, you know, coming back a couple of times and, you know, you're saying, oh man, sorry I didn't get to it. That's not good business. And it's, you know, you don't want to waste people's time. Time is precious. So when I had my own place, when I was just fixing shoes, I really vowed right from the day I started that I would never leave my shop until everything that I promised for the next day was done. And that was a good way to do things because it really helped me out a lot. I'm just creating my own reality here, you know? I just want to have fun, do good work, be honest, right? And keep doing that forever. Hopefully I don't screw nothing up. Okay, we got a nice light coat of glue on all this stuff. Looks like everything's just setting up okay. Gonna give this a little while to kind of get tacky. Well, it looks like everything's all dry, ready to go. So now it's just a matter of putting these guys together. That looks good. Kind of eyeballing it up. Gonna hammer this guy down a little bit. All right, we'll just put these guys on this press here and make sure we got a good bond. Whoa, excuse me, need a little oil on that. There. Or some WD-40. See if that worked. Yeah, I gotta take this apart. Look at, see what's going on in there. Probably just a little valve or air leak. Well, I guess I just gotta beat the snot out of these. press isn't going to cooperate. I'm just going to have to use brute force. My favorite. This guy ain't going anywhere. Okay, a little trim. Yep, knives are good and sharp. That's good. I think I'm going to get these all on, and I think I'm going to call it a day. I'm actually getting hungry. I've been eating like like it's my job for the last 3 days, but we got a fridge full of leftovers, which I really never even heard of as a kid. That was explained to me that was leftovers are food that's left over after a meal, like you don't eat it all. I've never experienced that. We would pretty much eat everything. The printed flowers off the dishes, but those are different days. It's getting late and cold, so I'm just gonna get all these guys on and then trim them and finish them all up in the morning. Well, that's enough fun for me for one day. We got all the soles on here. They're all on there. Not trimmed or nothing yet, but I'll get to that in the morning. Well, it's the next morning, time to finish the job we started yesterday. Hey there, Riley, how you doing, honey? What's going on there, baby? Me and Riley are up here now. My wife brought our big Dane Ole down to the vet today. We're trying to see what's going on with him. We're hoping for the best. So say a prayer for Ole. Well, I'm just gonna get a coat of polish on these guys before I do the final finishing. Like a lot of guys, nobody's really spent a lot of time polishing their work boots, but it does add a little level of protection. So we'll brush action. Just brings them up a little bit, makes them look a lot better. Our little puppy Riley's sitting here in the background trying to figure out what's going on. She doesn't come out to the shop much, and she actually gets a little nervous when she's not with Ole. She's a little bit of a nervous Nelly. We got her maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and we were her 4th home. So she's a little gun shy, but we're patient with her. She's come a long way, that's for sure. She sure is sweet. What do you think, Rye? You good, baby? You good? Come on. I think Riley does not like the sand here. All right, just getting a little polish and conditioner on these DMs. Bringing these guys back to life. Just say, Rye. Okay, we're just gonna sand these guys up and that should do it. Come on, baby, you're all right. Yeah, I don't think Riley really appreciates the shop here, but she's doing okay. All right, Mama, hang in. Well, all right, that's a wrap. I think I got everything I need to get out of Dodge here. Riley is co-piloting today. Just gonna grab them boots, throw them in a truck, and head on back to Jersey. Just say, right, good? You ready to rock? Okay. Well, I'm happy with how these boots turned out. Took a lot of work, but it was nice just to come out here and get down business, get them all squared away. Put some new laces on these guys. This guy's needed a full leather inner sole, so I put that in there. These guys are in good shape. Put a little color on these guys. So yeah, mission accomplished. And that's it for today. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. It's been almost a full year since I started the channel, and I've been learning a lot, and it's been really a great journey. So thanks for coming along with me on this whole thing. So just stay tuned for more interesting stuff to come. It's going to be 2026 pretty soon. And I got a little grandbaby coming in January. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. Little Indigo. I talk to her every night before she's here. Thanks again for watching.